Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thanks for attending this webinar. I'm Xin Zhang, partner of SPTL, in charge of patent matters in IT-related technical field. As one of the leading IP firms in China, we provide a full range of services for IP matters, both domestically and abroad. Today, one of our senior attorneys, Mr. Junfei Wang, will share some of the information and his opinions about patent eligibility for smarter healthcare in China. Mr. Wang joined the SPTL in the year of 2015. He has a wealth of experience in the field of electronics, photonics, medical devices, etc. His practice involves patent prosecution, patent search and analysis, patent invalidation proceeding, and patent infringement litigation. His presentation will last about 30 minutes with up to 10 additional minutes for questions. Should time not allow for every question, you are all welcome to send us your questions by email and we shall duly reply. Also, you may raise your questions through text message during the presentation. Now I will leave the time to Mr. Wang. Let's welcome.
Hello, everyone. I'm Junfei. Thank you for coming to this webinar. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you today, speaking about patent and eligibility for smarter healthcare in China. Today's discussion will be divided into 4 parts. At the beginning, let's take a look at an overview of smarter healthcare, and then I will introduce the relevant legal provisions. In the later parts, I will highlight some key points by sharing several cases. Let's get started. The concept of wise information technology of MED, smarter healthcare for short, is originated from Smarter Planet strategy proposed by IBM in 2009. As a part of Smarter Planet strategy, smarter healthcare integrates technologies such as diagnosis and treatment, smarter wearable devices, cloud processing, big data, and 5G. It enables connections and good interactions between patients, medical devices, healthcare professionals, and medical institutions in an intelligent way, thereby improving the efficiency, accuracy, and scientificity of disease diagnosis and treatment. China is vast in territory, and the distribution of medical resources is uneven. In order to ensure that residents in remote areas can also receive timely and high-quality medical services, the previous primary application of smarter healthcare technology in China has focused on telemedicine. With the rapid integration of artificial intelligence and the medical industry, intelligent diagnosis and treatment, intelligent medical robots, and intelligent medical beauty are currently and will continue to be popular in the application of smarter healthcare. For humanity and ethical reasons, it is acknowledged that a doctor shall be given the freedom to choose any means in the course of diagnosis or treatment of diseases. Thus, in many regions, medical methods are generally not the subject matter of patent protection. Let's take a look at the legal provisions related to patent eligibility for medical methods in China. According to Article 25.1, methods for the diagnosis or for the treatment of diseases cannot be granted a patent right. Patent examination guideline explains their definition, which is the processes of identifying, determining, or eliminating the cause or focus of diseases which are practiced directly on living human or animal bodies. Another relevant legal provision is Article 22.4 of the Patent Law, which stipulates that any invention or utility model for which patent rights may be granted must possess practical applicability. Patent examination guideline explains that methods of surgery for non-treatment purposes do not have practical applicability because they are practiced directly on living human or animal bodies. As can be seen from the above introduction of the legal provisions, when we want to apply for a patent for a medical method in China, we need to consider the subject matter eligibility. Conventional medical methods usually are not eligible subject matters. However, with the advancement of technology in smarter healthcare, patent applications in this field are booming. A large number of new forms of medical methods have emerged, holding challenges to the judgment of patent eligibility, and its judgment criteria have triggered a lot of disputes and discussions. For patent applications in smarter healthcare, there are three typical types of intelligent medical methods, which are intelligent diagnostic methods, treatment planning methods, and intelligent surgical methods. Let's begin with the intelligent diagnostic methods. As previously introduced, if a method meets two requirements, it belongs to diagnostic method and cannot be granted a patent right. The first requirement is that it is practiced on a living human or animal body. And the second requirement is that its immediate purpose is to obtain the diagnostic result of a disease or health condition. In view of such regulations, I'd like to move on to the key points of eligibility determination for intelligent diagnostic methods. Key point number one, who is the implementer? In terms of intelligent diagnostic methods, now it's the computer that takes over as the implementer, not the doctor. Thus, such method patent would not hinder the doctor's freedom of choice. On the other hand, since the intelligent diagnostic methods are software processed by computers, they can definitely be copied and used in industry. Therefore, the change of the implementer from a doctor to a computer gives the intelligent diagnostic method the possibility of patent eligibility. Key point two, if the method practiced on a living human or animal body, the traditional diagnosis process may require collecting some data from the patient. But in the process of intelligent diagnosis, this data is already stored in the computer. For such a method, if it simply performs a processing and analysis on the medical data and does not involve such a step being implemented on the human body, such a method will not meet one of the above two requirements. Key point three, does the method have immediate purpose of obtaining the diagnostic result of a disease or health condition? In the traditional diagnostic process, determining whether a patient is sick mainly relies on the doctor's medical knowledge and accumulated experience. So for the diagnosis result obtained by the computer, is it just an intermediate result for doctor's reference? Or is this result the direct diagnosis result? This is what we need to consider. Based on the above key points, let's take a look at case number one. Case number 1 is a method for evaluating medical data of a person to identify at-risk medical conditions, which seems to be strongly related to the previously mentioned definition of the diagnostic method, though whether it is eligible. In brief, this method mainly consists of 4 steps. The first step is to obtain personal medical data via computer. The second step is to access from a memory a medical knowledge base and comparing. The third step is to identify a personal at-risk medical condition based on comparison results. And the last step is to output information relating to the at-risk medical condition from the computer. As can be seen, this method takes computer as the implementer to conduct comparative analysis of personal medical data. The result is the at-risk medical condition. As a simple example of use cases, the personal medical data could be blood sugar value, and if the blood sugar value is not within the normal range, the method might output a risk level for developing diabetes. As you can see, this method has the following characteristics. The implementer is computer. The implementation object is personal medical data. The result is a health condition risk value that provides a reference for doctors. And all the steps are performed by computer to process data. In the actual diagnosis process, the computer gives a result representing the risk value, and the doctor may need to conduct a professional or comprehensive analysis of the patient to obtain a specific diagnosis result. Thus, this method is considered an information processing method rather than a diagnostic method. Let's briefly summarize this case. If a method relates to a process where a computer does all the work, using data as its main focus and providing intermediate results that can be used for reference, such process belongs to information processing method, which is eligible. Now I'd like to turn to treatment planning methods next. As introduced at the beginning, methods which serve treatment purpose are not eligible subject matter. Patent examination guideline provides some examples that belongs to or shall be regarded as methods of treatment of diseases, which particularly mentions the method auxiliary to a surgery treatment. Treatment planning methods are clearly treatment related. Does it belong to methods auxiliary to treatment? Based on such confusion, let's move on to the key points of eligibility determination for treatment planning method. The key point is whether the methods serve treatment purpose. In smarter healthcare, treatment planning methods are implemented by computers and do not require the participation of doctors. For such methods, the key point in judging is whether the method has a therapeutic purpose. Some methods, although related to treatment, do not actually work on the human body. On to case number 2. Case number 2 is a method for modeling the alignment of an orthopedic implant for a joint of a patient, and clearly defines that the method comprises the computer implemented steps and mainly consists of 4 steps. The first step is to receive patient-specific information data to derive patient data. The second step is to provide 3D model data of the joint using the patient data. The third step is to determine a set of possible alignment configurations. And the fourth step is to select another alignment configuration. In short, taking joint replacement as an example, this method can obtain 3D model data of the patient's joints based on the patient information, and then use the 3D model data to determine all available implants in the database. And finally, use the activity preference data to choose the most appropriate implants. As we can see, this method takes computer as the implementer and is a process of calculation based on massive data and mathematical models. The result of this method is obtained by the computer through modeling, involving no actual impact on the human body. In this case, it is usually considered that the method's ultimate goal is to obtain modeling result, not treatment result. And thus, this method does not serve treatment purpose and does not belong to method of treatment for disease. Let's briefly summarize this case. If a method occurs before surgery and has no direct effect on the human body, it can be considered that the method does not reflect the therapeutic properties and thus is eligible. Let's move on to intelligent surgical methods. Methods of surgery are divided into one kind for the purpose of treatment and the other kind for the purpose of non-treatment. Both cannot be granted patent rights. Method of surgery for purpose of treatment belongs to method of treatment for diseases, for which no patent rights shall be granted in accordance with Article 25.1. Methods of surgery for non-treatment purposes lack practical applicability. No patent right shall be granted in accordance with Article 22.4. However, in smarter healthcare, many intelligent methods related to surgery, such as imaging processing methods or the control methods for medical device, have emerged. So, are they eligible? According to the definition of method of surgery, it refers to the method of traumatic or invasive treatment. So the key point is, does the method relate to traumatic or invasive treatment? That is to say, we need to determine whether the method involves interventional step performed on a living human or animal body. Based on such point, let's see case number 3. This method relates to imaging processing, used for tracking a distal portion of a medical device with respect to a body of a patient. From the expression of Claim 1, we can find that the medical device includes a distal portion for insertion into the body of the patient. And this method comprises using the first imaging process to determine the position of the distal portion of the medical device, and then using the second imaging process to track the advancement of the medical device in the body of the patient. After reviewing the description, we found that this method uses multiple imaging of the body to track the advancement of the medical device in the patient's body, with the purpose of providing feedback and guidance for doctors to accurately place the medical device. Such imaging processing methods must be accompanied by interventional surgical procedures and inseparable from the process of inserting medical device into the human body. Therefore, since this method performs interventional operations on a living human body, it belongs to method of surgery, which is ineligible. Smarter healthcare involves many methods related to imaging processing. We can generally refer to the following criteria when judging eligibility. If an imaging processing method is inseparable from the surgical operations, it belongs to surgical methods. If, on the contrary, if an imaging processing method is performed independently from surgical operations, it does not belong to methods of surgery. Let's turn to another case. Case number 4 is a control method for a surgical robot, comprising the following steps. The first step is to acquire the current position of the end actuator and the position of the patient. The second step is to acquire the motion track of the end actuator, taking the current position as start and the working point as the target. The third step is to adjust a motion track according to the work point and the current position of the end actuator. And the last step is to drive the end actuator according to the motion path. After reviewing the description, we found that this method actually plans the movement of surgical instruments to avoid collision with the patient's body during the movement from the current position to the operating point. Such control method occurs during the process of adjusting the surgical robot before surgery and does not occur during the surgery. The direct purpose of this method is to ensure that the end effector will not touch the patient's body during movement, and no interventional operation will occur. Accordingly, it is eligible subject matter. Smarter healthcare involves many operations or control methods related to medical devices, such as surgical robots. We can generally refer to the following criteria when judging eligibility. If a control method does not include interventional operation on living human body and is not performed during surgery, it does not belong to the method of surgery. On the contrary, if a method includes the operation or control step performed when the device must be implemented on a living human or animal body, and a traumatic or interventional treatment is performed, it belongs to method of surgery. Finally, please allow me to summarize current criteria for subject matter eligibility of medical methods. Intelligent diagnostic methods in which all steps are performed by computers and no direct diagnostic result is provided do not belong to ineligible subject matters. Treatment planning methods prior to the actual treatment procedures do not belong to ineligible subject matters. A method involving surgery performed in part or in whole by a computer, if it involves traumatic or interventional procedure on a living human or animal body, it belongs to ineligible subject matters. Well, I'm very glad to be here today to share this topic with all of you. Thank you for your listening. And if you would like further details or need advice, please feel free to contact us, and we will be glad to be helpful. And now, if there are any questions, I would be pleased to answer.
Okay, thanks for your sharing, Mr. Wang. I think your introduction is quite informative and helpful. Now we will go to the Q&A section. Let's see the first question, which is from Mr. Brian Falcon. The question is, we understand that the method of performing surgery by a surgical robot cannot be patented in China. However, in the research and development stage of surgical robots, surgical robot prototypes are usually used to simulate surgical experiments on bionic processes. Is it possible to apply for a patent for such an experimental process? Mr. Wang, would you please share some of your opinions in this matter?
Okay. Thank you for your question. In my opinion, the answer is affirmative. A simulation method for surgery on prosthesis is eligible subject matter because it is not practiced on the living human or animal body and is performed independently from real surgical procedure. However, it should be noted that the description of the application must be carefully drafted, and it must be clearly stated that the method is performed on the prosthesis rather than the living human before surgery, or has nothing to do with the real surgery. If the description mentions that the method can be used either before surgery or in a real surgical environment, it is still very likely that the method claim will be rejected. I hope this my explanation is helpful.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to the second question from Amanda Lopez, which is, as a popular field of smarter healthcare, intelligent medical beauty was mentioned at the beginning part, and I would like to know whether the method related to medical beauty is a patentable subject. Oh, this is a question about intelligent medical beauty. Mr. Wang, please.
Thank you for your question. Medical beauty. In my understanding, most of the methods related to medical beauty are methods for treating the body, and especially the skin. According to the patent examination guideline, if such a method is of purely cosmetic nature, that is to say, not for the purpose of treatment, and not invasive to human body, or do not produce wounds, it is eligible subject matter under the current practice. Although it should be noted that the description of the application must definitely state that this method is for non-treatment purpose and will not cause damage to the body, to the skin. And I hope this explains the situation for you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Wang. If there is no more question, okay, thank you all. I think it's already enough for Q&A session, and it's almost the time to conclude today's webinar. Different jurisdictions may have different practice in judging eligibility for smarter healthcare. We hope that today's introduction could be of your help when facing issues with eligibility judgment for smarter health in Chinese patent practice. As always, we at SPTL will provide webinars centered on various topics in IP. In order for it to bring you the most added value, please follow our post or notification. This is all for today's webinar. Thank you, and hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.